Fame is a beautiful mask. It shines under the spotlight, it smiles for cameras, it pretends that pain doesn't exist. But behind that glittering illusion, Hollywood hides its most terrifying stories. The secret lives of stars who seemed perfect, yet carried nightmares darker than any role they played. Some were victims of obsession, others of power, and a few of their own reflection. In today's story, we'll revisit the hidden side of 10 icons who conquered the world with beauty, music, or genius, but whose private lives reveal a tragic reality. Marilyn Monroe. It began with a phone call that was never answered. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn Monroe was found lifeless in her Los Angeles home, a bottle of pills beside the bed, the phone off the hook. To the world, she was the ultimate symbol of beauty and desire. But inside, she was a prisoner of the same image that made her famous. Born Norma Jean, she was rebuilt by Hollywood. New hair, new smile, new name, and a new silence. Studio executives controlled her every move, feeding her pills to sleep, pills to wake, and pills to keep smiling. Her affairs with powerful men became gossip headlines, while her cry for help went unheard. Friends said she feared being discarded once her beauty faded. In the end, fame didn't kill her, it simply forgot her. Her death was ruled a suicide, but the truth behind it remains tangled in whispers of manipulation and control. Marilyn Monroe became a legend not because she lived perfectly, but because she died as proof that perfection can destroy.
Michael Jackson. The gates of Neverland were meant to protect him, yet they became his cage. Michael Jackson built his own kingdom of innocence, a private amusement park where childhood could finally exist without fear. But behind the laughter of children and the glow of his white gloves, there was an adult man haunted by trauma. Beaten during rehearsals by his father, shaped by fame before puberty, Michael never learned to live beyond the stage. His body changed, as if trying to erase the boy he once was, and his soul followed, fragmented, restless, addicted to both adoration and medication. As accusations and lawsuits mounted, he grew thinner, paler, more distant from the world that once worshipped him. Every performance became a desperate attempt to reclaim love. On June 25, 2009, he died from an overdose of propofol, preparing for a comeback that would never happen. The boy who healed millions through music could not heal himself. His secret life wasn't about scandal. It was about loneliness so deep it became lethal.
Britney Spears. She was the face of a generation, a teenage dream turned global obsession. Britney Spears rose faster than any star before her and fell harder than anyone expected. Behind the glitter and choreography, she lived under constant surveillance, her every gesture owned by the world. When fame became too heavy, her breakdown was televised. A shaved head, flashing cameras, and laughter that cut deeper than any wound. What the public didn't see was the system built to control her. For 13 years, her father and a team of lawyers managed every dollar, every move, every word she spoke. Britney performed for millions while being legally silenced, a prisoner in plain sight. Her smile became armor, her stage a cell. In 2021, she fought back and reclaimed her freedom, revealing to the world the horror of her private captivity. Her story is not just about fame gone wrong, but about humanity stolen and reclaimed. Britney Spears' secret life was not hidden in the dark, it was hidden in plain view, beneath the spotlight that never turned off.
Charlie Chaplin.
He made the world laugh without saying a word, yet his private life was a storm of voices he could not silence. Charlie Chaplin, the man behind the bowler hat and the cane, carried secrets darker than any of his comedies. Off-screen, he was consumed by obsession, power, and an insatiable fear of aging. His relationships were controversial. He married 4 times, often to women decades younger, one barely 16. In a world that worshipped his genius, Chaplin's personal scandals nearly destroyed him. Accused of immorality, political sympathy for communism, and paternity disputes, he became Hollywood's unwanted hero. When the FBI investigated him, America turned its back. In 1952, he was exiled and stripped of his home country's love, condemned to live in Switzerland, far from the applause that once defined him. The man who gave laughter to millions died surrounded by silence, both self-imposed and cruelly deserved. His secret was not sin alone, but the tragic truth that genius and darkness often share the same stage.
Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, died on his throne, not in glory, but in isolation. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found lifeless on the bathroom floor of Graceland, his heart stopped by a cocktail of prescription drugs. To the world, he was unstoppable, the boy from Mississippi who conquered America with a shake of his hips. But behind the rhinestones and spotlights, Elvis was a man consumed by control and addiction. His manager, Colonel Tom Parker, dictated every move, every show, every breath, turning Elvis into a machine that could no longer rest. Fame became a cage wrapped in sequins. His health declined, his mind fractured, and his once magnetic stage presence turned into exhaustion masked by pills. Those who loved him said he would sit alone for hours, staring at his reflection, asking what went wrong. He had everything the world promised: money, love, adoration, yet no peace. In the end, the king was just another prisoner of his own legend, proving that even royalty can die without freedom.
Joan Crawford. In Hollywood, Joan Crawford was perfection. Every movement rehearsed, every emotion sculpted into elegance. But behind the locked doors of her mansion, perfection turned into tyranny. To the public, she was the glamorous queen of cinema. To her adopted children, she was a nightmare they could never wake from. Her daughter, Christina, would later reveal a world of rage and humiliation in her memoir, Mommy Dearest, a confession that shattered the myth of Hollywood motherhood. Crawford demanded order, beauty, and control in every corner of her home. When the lights went out, she punished disobedience with icy silence or explosive fury. The same discipline that built her career became the cruelty that destroyed her family. As age crept in, her fame faded, leaving her alone with mirrors that no longer recognized her. Joan Crawford died in 1977, elegant, even in decline, but her legacy split forever between admiration and fear. Her secret life revealed what Hollywood never admits, that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones who look perfect on camera. Judy Garland. She was 16 when Hollywood decided she was perfect. To keep her perfect, they fed her pills, one to wake her up, another to put her down. Judy Garland, the eternal Dorothy of The Wizard of Oz, lived in a world where dreams were scripted and emotions were scheduled. The studio owned her smile, her voice, even her exhaustion. Behind every performance was a girl trembling under the weight of expectation. She sang of rainbows, yet her real life was rain after rain. Addiction, broken marriages, and nights spent crying for the childhood she never had. By the time she reached her 40s, she was worn out, performing in small clubs to survive. The applause that once lifted her now echoed like a cruel reminder of what she'd lost. On June 22, 1969, in a London bathroom, Judy Garland's heart finally gave out, a barbiturate overdose ending the fairy tale she never controlled. Her death wasn't just the fall of a star. It was Hollywood's confession that even the brightest lights burn out when no one protects them.
Anna Nicole Smith. She wanted to be loved, not remembered. But Hollywood only remembers tragedy. Anna Nicole Smith rose from a Texas waitress to a global icon, the new Marilyn Monroe of the 90s. Her beauty was her weapon and her curse. When she married billionaire J. Howard Marshall, 6 decades her senior, the world called her a gold digger. She called it survival. Fame brought her riches, attention, and ridicule. But when her husband died, the lawsuits began. Years of legal chaos and public humiliation that tore apart her mind. Addicted to painkillers and grief, Anna spiraled deeper after her son's sudden death in 2006. Just months later, she was gone too, found lifeless in a Florida hotel room at age 39. The cameras arrived before the paramedics. Her final days were filmed, analyzed, mocked. Another casualty of fame turned spectacle. Beneath the glamour was a woman consumed by emptiness, searching for love in a world that only saw headlines. Her secret life wasn't horrifying by crime. It was horrifying by loneliness.
Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski's life reads like a screenplay written by fate and punishment. He survived the Holocaust as a child, lost his mother in Auschwitz, and rose to fame as one of cinema's greatest visionaries. But behind his brilliance lay a torment that would destroy his name. In 1969, his pregnant wife, actress Sharon Tate, was brutally murdered by the Manson family, a wound that never healed. Hollywood embraced his tragedy, but years later the director crossed a line from grief into infamy. In 1977, he was charged with unlawful sex with a 13-year-old girl. The scandal ended his career in America and turned him into a fugitive. He fled to Europe, where he continued making films, haunted by both guilt and genius. To some, he remained an artist, to others, a monster who escaped justice. Decades passed, but the shadow never left him. The man who directed nightmares lived inside one, trapped between brilliance and disgrace. Roman Polanski's secret life reminds us that in Hollywood, the line between victim and villain is often written in the same script.
Whitney Houston. In 2012, the world lost a voice that once touched heaven. Whitney Houston was found face down in a hotel bathtub, her final breath drowned beneath the same fame that once lifted her. To the cameras, she was untouchable, America's sweetheart, a goddess of soul. But fame became her curse, and love her downfall. Her marriage to Bobby Brown, once celebrated as passion, soon turned violent and toxic. Together they spiraled into addiction, losing themselves in a haze of drugs, jealousy, and regret. Behind closed doors, Whitney's angelic voice cracked under exhaustion and emotional pain. Her family watched helplessly as she fought to escape the demons that had become her audience. Years of public humiliation followed. Broken concerts, trembling interviews, desperate attempts at redemption. She sang of love, but lived in chaos, longing to be loved for who she truly was, not for how perfectly she sang. When she died, the world mourned the star. Few remembered the woman who only ever wanted peace.